we have two machines. On the left side, we have our victim machine. On the right side, we have our attacker machine. Our victim machine's IP address is 192.168.43.109. And if we look at its ARP table, we can see that it knows about the gateway at 43.1 with a MAC address of 43ED. It knows about a computer called 43222 with a MAC address of 96.7. On the right side, we have our attacker machine. If you look at its address, the address is 192.168.43.222. And the MAC address, as we saw on the left side, is exactly that 996.7. What we're going to do is we're going to start sending packets that are going to say things like the gateway is at 996.7. And we're going to see that on the left side, it should change. Okay. So on the right side, we have a program that we wrote that does a simple ARP spoofer. And what it does is it creates it needs to know what you want to portray that you are, and it needs to know who you want to attack. It has other options as well, but let's just write that. So here's our ARP spoofer, and it has to know who you want to portray that you are. I want to pretend that I am 192.168.43, and I want to pretend that I'm 43.1. And I want to attack 192.168.43.109. 109 is the computer on the left side. Now, when I push enter, it seems like there's nothing going on. I forgot to sudo that. Hold on. Okay, we're going to sudo that. And it seems like there's nothing going on. But if we look at Wireshark behind the scenes, we see that we're sending thousands and thousands of packets. And the packets are pretty much saying the following. They're saying that 192.168.43.1 is at, and saying the MAC address of the attacker. That's what it's actually saying. It's already sending thousands of packets. If we look at the victim side, we look at the Wireshark at the victim side, we see that it should be getting also thousands of packets saying the exact same thing. Okay, it's getting a lot of packets saying the exact same thing. It's capturing already 65,000 packets. When we look at the ARP table, we will notice that both the computer 43222 and 43.1 both have the same MAC address. What that means is that we were able to manipulate the MAC address of the victim to be the MAC address of the attacker instead of the MAC address of the real gateway. Which means that if we try to ping or access the internet or do anything on the left machine, what's going to happen is the packets are going to be traveling to the attacker's machine, who will decide what he wants to do with it. He might decide that he wants to drop it, create some kind of denial of service. He might decide to forward it on to the real gateway and then get an answer and pass it back towards the victim, but it's up to him. Point is that the packet will reach the attacker instead of reaching the gateway. Let's stop this. And we look at the left side again. We stop the attack. We look at the left side. We should see that it should rejuvenate itself. It's not yet, but sooner or later it should rejuvenate itself. At some point, it has some kind of delay. And at some point, it's going to find out what the real address is. And once it does that, it's going to, here it is, it's reset it to the real address. And there's a certain time frame that the attack persists. And after that, the standard protocol of the ARP will redo itself and find out what the real gateway is, and the attack will actually begin.